So, 4 years ago in 2022, I had the idea to create an interactive subway map of New York City, placing LEDs behind each subway station and using something called a GTFS feed to pull live data of where trains were in the system to display their position on this map. I created a very brief prototype back there of my transit system, the Detroit People Mover. Wonderful. And I proved that it kind of works, even though 4 years later it's kind of freaking out. I bought all the supplies to make the larger full-size prototype, and my dad and I even started to build the frame, which was going to be very similar to the size of that subway map behind me, but unfortunately, the project fizzled out and I went to college. Imagine my surprise when 2 years later I saw that there was a Kickstarter project called the Metroboard by a company called the Design Rules Company, created by two people out of LA. It is essentially the exact same idea that I had, except way smaller, and I might add, it is designed perfectly. It looks like a piece of 70s hi-fi equipment with walnut sides and a brushed aluminum faceplate, and when I read through the Kickstarter, I thought it was incredible. I thought it was great, and I didn't think that I was going to be able to do my project anytime soon, so I immediately backed it. I've had a lot of fun tracking along. They've given great updates about production and design and the challenges that come when you're developing your own project, and I'm happy to say that today, 2 years after I support it, it finally showed up at my door, and I'm ready to unbox it. I've not done an unboxing in a very long time, maybe in over 10 years, but let's see what's in this Metro board, let's see what it's like to set it up, and let's see how it compares to my prototype. So I don't know what the packaging is going to look like now, but very early in the project, packaging was a pretty big concern for them. They were designing a really cool box with embossed lettering, but I think they've had to cut into some of their cost for that due to some tariff stuff. So let's see what they settled on for their final packaging. Alright, I've been waiting 2 years for this. This is a big deal for me. Alright, orange. I see some orange. Alright. Wow, I think they kept the good packaging. That looks incredible. Let me get this unpacked and we'll look at each thing that came with it. Alright, in my particular package is a pack of these transit trading cards that I saw that they printed to raise some extra money, I believe. This thank you note, and the Metroboard itself, which is in an incredible orange box with embossed subway-like designs and a very cool logo at the top. I'm proud to be the 982nd backer, I believe, of this project. So I'm going to take a second to read this letter and then I'm going to begin opening. Again, it was really, really fun to follow this process. It's like I was designing and producing my own product almost. I was really excited to read each of the updates, and I think they did a great job at being fully transparent during this process. Here's the cards, the Great American Subway Collection. Let's open these. Ooh, these look pretty cool already. Oh, they're lenticular! Look at that. So these cards are printed on lenticular plastic, so they have that shifting effect. That's really cool. We got Chicago, the L, of course, Bay Area with BART, Boston with the T, Los Angeles with the Metro, and New York with the subway, and Washington, D.C. with the Metro. These are really, really cool keepsakes. The back has some information about each transit system. These are really well done. And if this is any indication of how they did the product, I'm really excited to open the Metroboard itself. Let's do it. So just before I open it, let's take a look around. It's got their DRC script logo here. It's got a super cool full-color Metroboard logo. Every train and every station in your city. This is really impressive work. So this is the New York SKU. They had a Metroboard for each of the cities on those playing cards. Let's not delay any further. Let's open this up. It's shrink wrapped almost like an Apple product. It's really, really nice feeling. Almost better, to be honest. So I believe we have a magnetic flap on the right, so let's reveal. This is so exciting for me. Oh my god. That is so cool already. Alright, so not to delay any further, but on the inside, it seems that we have a map of the United States in like a subway diagram-esque type of style. We have the name of each system, and we have some cool text there. And then over the Metroboard itself, we have a cool piece of like a waxed paper. Let's get this off. Wax paper has their logo on it. This is the first time seeing this in person. This is incredible. Wow. Let me turn this sideways. Alright, so in addition to the board itself, we have an Apple-style braided USB C-to-C cable with a nice length. An almost Apple-style 15-watt USB-C brick to match. And some hardware to mount it to the wall, which is very generous of them. This thing looks incredible so far, and I haven't even touched it. They listed all the dimensions online, but I didn't know what that was actually going to look like in real life. So, let's get it out of here. Wow. Again, look at that incredible brushed aluminum effect. There's a really, really nice finish on the walnut. It feels really nice and smooth. Okay, so let me turn this around. This is a weird thing, but the buttons on the back that they use to adjust everything has changed a lot over the years. They originally had them as these brushed aluminum buttons, and then they became plastic, and they were multicolored, and then they were single-colored. Personally, I voted for the multicolor look, I believe, but let's see what it looks like. Oh my god, they did the multicolor buttons. It looks incredible. So yeah, so on the back you can see there's a few controls for color if you want every line to have its original color, or for it to all just be white so it looks a little bit cleaner. Some brightness so it could not be distracting in your room. Showing the animation for in-transit trains as being solid or pulsing. How often you want to update the GTFS feed data, and which direction the trains are going in. So this bottom button, I believe, is unique to New York City because, as you know, the New York City subway system is the largest subway system in the United States, and therefore they had to go with a single LED at each station. I believe that all the other cities have 2 LEDs per station, one for each direction of travel. So this right here is slightly less functional from a train tracking perspective, but it's a lot more effective from a viewing perspective. But I feel like it's the only way they could have done a system this complex at this price and at this size, because imagine if there were 2 LEDs per stop, that would have been incredibly cluttered. I also just noticed there is a really cool recessed aluminum power switch. I don't know if that's the power switch, but it is a switch of some kind. Very satisfying feeling, very tactile. Let me put this aside because the box says lift me. Ooh, a start guide. Really, really cool. They have absolutely knocked it out of the park with this packaging. This is incredible. Okay, so we get a quick start guide, just like a fold-out subway map. That's really, really clever. As you can see, it shows you what's in the box. It gives you a instruction set for those buttons on the back. Shows you the 2 ways to place it, which are on the desktop with that included stand right there, brushed aluminum, and wall mount anchors also included. And then a nice thick product manual in this very nice square format. Looks like it covers how to read it, software updates, how to start it, configuring Wi-Fi. I remember that it was very cool. They showed that they talked about how even if they go out of business, the software should be open source, if I remember correctly, so that anyone could still use it in the event that something happened to the company, which hopefully it doesn't, because this is an incredible product, and I think they did a great job so far. Let's plug it in, and let's see what it's like to use. I'm going to assemble it with this brushed aluminum stand. The packaging is just as cool as the product, to be honest. They did a perfect job. I don't know if you can see this, but the USB-C port is nice and recessed. Awesome for hanging on the wall. And it's got these really nice rubber feet on each corner. Alright, so the power adapter they shipped me did not work, but that's okay. I plugged it into something else. Look at that startup animation. That is so cool. They spent a lot of effort trying to get the diffusion on these LEDs to look good, and let me tell you, they did. They look great. Let's open our computer and connect to the Wi-Fi. It's called Metroboard right there. So now, I wait for the pop-up to appear right there. It is loading the setup. So let's go through this. This is cool. This setup will walk you through configuring your Metroboard. Let's get started. I'm good for now. I'll reset it if I need to. So let me connect to my Wi-Fi. I really like the interface. It's like Windows XP or Windows 98 or something. Alright, let's proceed. I am happy to help, that is for sure. Alright, so it looks like if it needs an OTA update, it'll do it automatically. Nothing from me. And I'm going to press this button. It says show me the trains, so let's see the trains. Alright, I can close this tab and window now. Alright, everything's green. Look at that. Alright. Okay. I think it's working. I think it's showing me the trains. That is so cool. Okay, so look, it's moving. It's moving. It's literally showing me where trains are. Okay, so this looks incredible. This is like the coolest piece of decor in the world, especially for someone like me. So let's go through the buttons on the back. Alright, so again, there is a color button that allows me to go from showing the colors of each line to white. Let's press that one. It's like a soft white yellow. These buttons, by the way, they feel really satisfying. So that's the difference between color and white. So there are 3 brightness levels, low, medium, and high. This is high. Let's go through those. So this is low, medium, high. I can imagine that that would be very useful if it was in a room that was supposed to be dark, obviously. Alright, let's change it from solid to pulsing. Because right now I believe it's showing a dot for every train that is at a station. So let's see what happens when we switch it to pulsing if they are all lit up and then the ones at a station blink. Okay, so the ones that just arrived at a station seem to pulse. That's a pretty cool feature. I like that. The next button just tells you how fast you want the Metroboard to update. It's fastest, 10 seconds and 30 seconds, which is probably just, if you think it's a little distracting, you can make it only change every 30 seconds, which would be less distracting in a room, I suppose. I want it to change as fast as possible, of course, though. And the final button is the direction of the trains. So right now I believe we have both, which is basically just showing us whenever a train travels. But if you would like to use this more to monitor your daily commute, and let's say you are about to take a downtown train, you could switch it to show only downtown trains so that you know if a train is going to be at the stop soon. I don't know how effective that really is as a tool, but it is an option on this New York City board. Again, I think it is exclusive to this board only. Overall, I think the Design Rules company knocked this one out of the park and 1000% improved upon my original prototype. That is 100% sure. The design is great, the user experience is great, the unboxing is amazing, and I'm really excited to have this in my room and look at it all the time to see where trains are in the New York City subway system. Overall, thank you to the Design Rules company for executing this idea so well and so cleanly and making it so that I do not have to solder 500 LEDs together and code something to read the GTFS feed myself.